Set.
Hello, I'm Agnishwar. I'm part of EDII TN. This is Agnishwar Jayaprakash, who's the founder and director of Agni Group of Institution and International Scholar. So there are like few questions that we would ask you. You know, there are like already many engineering colleges in India. What made you come up with Agni College of Technology?
So the Agni College of Technology was established in 2001. So that was when I was 11 years old. The time when we actually took over was in 2009. I was 19 years old. But while I was in engineering itself, I had a vision of wanting to revamp the education system of India. One of the major reasons why I feel that our education system has become rudimentary in its premises because of the innate ability of our kids to just merely reproduce content after absorbing them on class. So you just test our children based on one aspect of their intelligence, which is to memorize and reproduce content. So I felt that whether it was in your first grade or whether it's in engineering fourth year, you're merely going through the books, you have an exam, and ultimately your goal is to score good marks, but you're not actually learning. There isn't a quotient of learning or trying to solve a problem or thinking out of the box or anything of that nature. And I wanted to change that. So I wanted to increase the innovative and entrepreneurial capabilities and instill that kind of a culture inside our education system, which is why I wanted to create a different environment at the education system as a whole. Agni College of Technology felt the best place to start.
So what kind of changes did you make in order to make that possible?
We inspire every single student at Agni to become an entrepreneur by having a special period in our college called as a startup hour itself. So what we do is every single student, whether they like it or not, but hopefully they're interested, but we give them the opportunity to be part of the startup. So we incubate the startup, we fund the startup, we help accelerate it to a level where people would be interested to fund it, and we work with the government a lot in order to inspire children and our students to not just think about the next Snapchat or Facebook or Instagram, but to come up with real-time solutions for existing problems that is there in our government departments, like water, like in waste management, and in terms of electricity. A lot of problems that that exist within our country. Youngsters usually blame the government. They always ask, why is the government so bad? And we always look at somebody to blame. So I feel that why not students take up the onus on themselves? They have so much potential. Why couldn't we make startups which cater to the needs of solving government problems? So that is how this entire revolution within the Agni Group of Technology startups started, and we now have about 300 startups that are incubated in Agni.
So it seems like it's a very great idea. Why not inculcate in any other colleges?
You would always want to stabilize a system before wanting me to proliferate in other colleges and in other education systems. Right now, the model which we initially started was known as EDII. It was founded by me in 2014, inspired by Dr. Jayaprakash. It is basically a pathway program, free of cost pathway program, just like how JEE is for IIT, FITG is for IIT, and you have pathway programs for IAS exams, for NEET, for medicine, but you don't have a pathway program for innovators and entrepreneurs. That is what I created from 2014. And it needed a little bit of time to stabilize. We had to learn from it because any huge systematic changes, you can't implement it right away in other colleges without understanding its pros and cons, how people react to it, what are the results, what kind of feedback we get from students themselves. So all of those things had to be taken into account before we actually went in and implemented it in other schools and colleges. However, at my time during Harvard Business School, and I went there in 2017 and 18, I learned that this model is exactly what the Harvard Business School is trying to imbibe right now. So it is reassuring to know that we are on a good track, on the right track in terms of. It will happen in time. I am sure that it will ultimately my goal is to ensure every student has the opportunity to get involved in a subject called as startups or in entrepreneurship and innovation, like how you learn your geography and history and math and such.
So, why is there a trend of doing MBA after engineering? Do you think it's the right choice?
Well, it depends on people, you actually have what it takes to be an entrepreneur is something which you need to figure out, and most of them try and figure it out while they're at their MBA schools. They get inspired by an idea, they're technically very sound, and then they go and figure out that there is a whole plethora of other skills that they need to develop in order to be successful in a startup environment. Usually what happens is people after their engineering, most of them in today's day and age, we have an 85% ratio of unemployed people who come out of college, which is a very dangerous ratio. So they don't like sitting idle at home, so they invariably end up going into an MBA program or trying their hand at a startup or doing very menial jobs. No disrespect to them, but it could be like in Swiggy or in Zomato or like as a delivery person and such. No shame in that, but what I'm trying to say is they want to be part of the system in some shape, means or form. So what I have noticed is that the trend, yes, towards doing a master's is invariably because of the unemployment right out of the undergraduate degree, but it also means that the industry isn't hiring people with just a undergraduate degree. They want people to develop more skills. They want people who are a lot more trained and who can immediately gel in within the system rather than having to train them and spend more money to make them fit into their ecosystem for about 3 to 4 months. It should cost them money too. So the corporates also don't want to spend that much money. So it's a conundrum. The reason is not only the students, it's also the industry.
So if you had one piece of advice to someone for starting out a business, what would that be?
Well, if you have a vision of starting a business, I would strictly advise students or youngsters to have a very, very strong advisory board, because what happens is one must always understand that you haven't seen it all. We don't even know what a coronavirus looks like. We can't even find a cure for a common cold, which is a virus. So how would you be able to predict what happens in a business? We can't even predict what happens in our life. So when you're entering in a very competitive world, you need to have people who have been there, done that, and who have good mentorship. And in terms of very nice advisory board will be the first thing that you need to start. And it will be very hard for you to convince people to your idea when you haven't even had anything. Most people will say, okay, have a vision, have a dream, nothing. But I always feel that one of the biggest reasons why I feel I'm moderately successful is because I have a very good team of advisors, and I've been mentored by some of the biggest people in terms of both business, politics, government, scientists like Dr. Kalam, former president like Mr. Barack Obama. So all these people have had a lot of influence in my life growing up. So their maturity and their understanding helps me mature as a person, as an individual, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, so that I'll be able to take decisions, important ones, painful ones, but experience is something which you can never find. So I think that is something which you should always have even before you get into making active steps in order for your business to become successful. That way you will be for sure, you will know every step of the way whether you're going on the right track. Because when you, business is something where if you make one step forward, there are 3 other steps that will pull you back. So you need to be very prepared.
So how do you cope up with such kind of losses?
Excuse me?
How do you cope up with such losses?
Well, you try and avoid them. One of the biggest things in terms of loss is that it can be very detrimental. People always say that it takes failure to succeed. I agree, yes, but it will always be wise to avoid failures if you can preempt it, if you can predict it. If you know that something is not going to work, why go and do it anyways? You should be smart enough to avoid a failure if you have the necessary skills to understand that you are heading towards that path. So but life always gives you options, gives you choices. Some people can see farther than others. Some people can have a bird's eye view of seeing, like, probably a bird like eagle or a hawk can see 15, 20, 30 kilometers very, very sharply. Whereas a bat, the same thing which can fly, can't see. So some people can see, some people can't see. But if you use your skills to understand what is there in front of you, a bat has other abilities. It makes sounds and it can hear really well, and through sonar it is able to hunt its prey. So identify your skills. In order to avoid failures, you need to know what you are very, very good at and sharpen them and try to acquire whatever you